Hey, happy Monday. Thanks for everyone who has notifications turned on, who comes over here, drops a comment, gives a thumbs up. You are appreciated. So I've got about 35 orders going out today, about $300 in net profit, small items, which is okay. You know, you can't always have the biggest sales weekends, but I want to talk about like the future of resale and I think how it might look in a recession or in a downturned economy. Because, you know, we've been talking about the past, about the feedback saga I had for a few days, but now I want to go look forward because I think that we can talk about things or at least go through scenarios that are going to help your business, help you make money, and hopefully explain just what might happen. Because when you think about what might happen, it takes away some of the anxieties, it makes it just more easy to understand, and it functions as like a thought experiment, and that's always good for exercise in your brain.
Before we do that, let's talk about some of the online arbitrage I've been doing. I'm basically only sourcing from online in my connections, so you know, email or auction sites or marketplace or whatever. Someone commented, are you gonna do any more sourcing videos at thrift stores? Probably not. Around here, it's just not really working for my business model. It takes too much time and the money isn't there, you know, per action. So we bought this wee bundle for, I don't see a tax slip in there, but I'm pretty sure I paid less than $50 for it. That's kind of my goal, is to buy a bundle with a game or two for $50. It's got the sensor bar. It's maybe not. That's for the Wii Sport. Normally they're gray, so it goes with the black. Oh, this is the black one. Okay, it's a black Wii Sport controller. Comes with a Wii Motion Plus nunchuck. And just one game, but this game I've sold for $40 on Amazon, so that pays for about half of what I bought entirely. This, I can't tell if it's only games, I think. Is it only games? Yeah, it's only games. When I'm buying bulk Wii games, I like to stay around $250 per game. And these all have manuals with them. Don't know if they're scratched, but generally if they've got manuals and the cases don't look too gummed up, I feel comfortable paying that price for them. If they're loose discs, I don't like going above $1.25, but you know, market prices always change, and they do kind of seem to be a little bit high right now. I'm seeing a lot of games like this, maybe not Wii games, but like Xbox 360 games going for like the $4 per game mark in bundles of 25 or more, which is just, that's pretty high. Maybe that's indicative of the market going up, or maybe that's just people got money to spend, I don't know. What I also bought was 20 of these size boxes. I think they're 36 by 12 by 4. And what I bought them for is to start going through all these. A bunch of Rock Band guitars here, because I don't really have any way to ship these. But they should fit. I hope they fit. Yeah, they should fit fine in one of these boxes with some sort of void filler. This should fit real nice with a little bit of void filler and some butcher paper. I paid $7 for this. It's a Rock Band controller for Nintendo Wii. I don't know what the market price is. I've got so many of these. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I paid $7 for it. I think I bought these from somebody for $2 a piece. I've got about 100 back there. So we're just gonna go through, put them in boxes, label them by console and by system, because there's Rock Band and there's also Guitar Hero, and then use that to streamline our testing process. And I think that I can sell these. Wii is the worst one, unfortunately, but I think on Amazon these go for about $50 or $60. Here's, I think, the biggest order. These are Friday's orders, not the weekend. And somebody, I'm not sure if they're buying these to resell them or they're a collector. They only bought one duplicate. They bought 2 copies of Halo 4. Everything else is unique, and it's Halo and Call of Duty and Sim City. They used a discount code that I sent out to all my buyers over the past more than 31 days. They bought from me before. If that's you, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And I'm curious, do you guys think they're buying these to sell them off individually? They paid about $150 for the whole stack. And none of these were recently listed. They're all been listed for at least a month, I'd say, or close to a month. So I don't know. I'd love to hear your input, though. Here's another interesting sale. Mostly I'm selling video games today. That's pretty much all I'm buying. This book, I sold a few books like this. 40 bucks. This came from the hoarder house that I paid, I think, 400 bucks. Go back and watch the video and see how much I paid for all that stuff. And that's obviously definitely profitable now. But this sealed copy of SOCOM Combined Assault for the PS2. Now you look at it, it looks kind of normal, but then take a closer look. That's a sticker. That's a PlayStation 2 Greatest Hits sticker. They just slapped it on the original cover. It doesn't have their security seal on the side or on the bottom. I'm pretty sure it's new. This would be a very unusual counterfeit. I mean, it's not counterfeit. I'm just playing devil's advocate for a second. Y seals, they paid I think about 25 bucks for this. But a cool thing, I always like finding unique stuff like this. What I think sometimes you see these stickers and they're for the Canadian market, but I think this was just they probably produced a prodigious amount of SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs Combined Assault, and here was a way to give them more shelf life. Here's something kind of cool, a single jewelry sale. I might have had two actually. So it's a peridot ring. I think it's pronounced peridot. Is it peridot? I don't think it's peridot. That sounds ridiculous. But there it is right there. Excuse my messed up fingernails. So I've never had a buyer complain about the rock not being what I said it was. This could be synthetic quartz that was heat treated, yada, yada, yada. But it's that lime green yellow color. And I think as long as you price things reasonably, I think I sold this for about 25 bucks. Personally, I bet I've sold, 4,000 or 5,000 rings over my life. Have never had an issue. As long as it's not like, oh, it's a natural ruby, and it's not. That would be a big mistake. But just saying stuff like this and pricing it reasonably, you're generally going to be okay. Okay, we've got the orders picked, ready to be shipped out. And so now let's talk about what some possible scenarios for the future reselling might be, because it's important. I've noticed just anecdotally less than 25%, but still significant increase in price on the items I'm selling and the price things will sell at on eBay. On Amazon, it's a bit more sporadic. I thought maybe, I'm seeing these trends. I'm thinking maybe there's a big opportunity for Valentine's Day candy, retail arbitrage wise. Went to Walmart, scanned it all. The only thing I found worth selling was Sour Patch Kid stuff, and that's because Sour Patch Kids has a gate. It's a gated brand, and so I'm able to have a little bit of wiggle room there. And then, still I'm paying $1.25 for it's like the theater style candy, and I sell them and I make $1 profits. It really is just not really worth it. I was there, so I bought all of them, but just like it's one thing out of how many are at the shelf at Walmart in the Valentine's Day aisle? 100, 200. So I'm not really seeing a big boost in retail arbitrage profits for food products, at least the kind of things that I sell. I'm not doing really expensive things. I'm sticking mostly to like the volume game. That was really, really good over the past 2 years. Doing, everything from over-the-counter medicine to like free weights were really great, like weighted plates for a home gym. All that stuff was really good, but now the margins are gone. And in past videos, I've talked about how I think that whole there's just too much friction associated with being a middleman for retail arbitrage. Saying middleman isn't totally right, because the stores are the middlemen. Their wholesalers are the middlemen, but there's being one of the middlemen is just not really worth it anymore. You kind of got to find new ways to make value. So why then? Why, if there's not as much profit on those items, why am I seeing such a higher profit on the things that I specialize in? Not really jewelry. I think sterling silver is at 69 cents a gram. Or silver is rather at that price, which it's been hasn't been at $1 for a long time. But I'm seeing books, DVDs, video games, that kind of stuff go up in value. I think that things like records, like vinyl records, those are going up just because they're collectible and the timing is right. But video games, so I've got two theories as to why there's three theories, I guess, if we're going to be totally talking about everything.
as to why used video games are going up, and, you know, by extension, any kind of disc-based media. Why is that going up in value? Because it is. I'm selling, you know, DVDs that would have sold for $5 2 years ago are selling for $10 now. It's just, you know, maybe it's my volume of inventory just makes that happen more. I'm getting more aggressive with my promotional tactics and markdowns and coupons. But I don't think that accounts for it all. And I'm not saying the whole resale market is going up or going down, because that's a very reductive approach to this. Like if you look at things like luxury handbags, those are going down, especially poor condition luxury handbags. So maybe that was people were just trying to get a little bit of a taste of luxury when they had some cash, and, you know, who knows how things have been going for the past 2 years for them. I don't know. You know, maybe some of these retail outlets who are experimenting with secondhand sales, or they're not seeing what they want, so that's going off the shelf. I don't know. But I do know that that's going down. And so I'm not saying that the resale market as a whole is going up. It's going to be stratified into niches, as any kind of, you know, analytical person will tell you. And so you can't just generalize. But what I can do is say, okay, disc-based console video games. That seems to be a pretty safe generalization or characterization of items. Those, I think, are going up. One, because a lot of inventory of the big sellers has been decimated because of Christmas sales, right? That's something that all the big, you know, huge, I'm talking $1 million plus a month eBay and Amazon accounts say, is that they actually see a little bit of a price bump, volume decrease, but a price bump in January, just because, you know, supply and demand does not diminish and equal to supply. So they go up, the prices go up. Secondly, I think that there are the new generation, the current generation of consoles don't really use disc-based games. I mean, you can buy a physical disc, but it's essentially just a link to a download page. You know, that's you're not gonna, you can't just pop it into an offline console and start playing. And I think that there are more and more people, especially as we're seeing people cut home internet and go use their wireless, you know, to save money, use their phone for home internet. We're seeing people probably spend less money on internet connections, which just makes current generation console gaming a little bit more difficult. Obviously, the dedicated people don't do that, but I think that the people I sell to are more casual in their endeavors, certainly for video games. So I think that is kind of creating a schism in the market where we're getting the newer people who don't really care about that, but people who just want to, you know, not spend $200 in a weekend going out to eat, doing all that stuff, and kind of want to stay home and have some fun and have a good time, they're buying video games. That's a possibility, number two. So one is that just the supply and demand is kind of out of whack because of Christmas, and that always happens every year, which is true. Two is that I think that we're seeing this divide, and I'm not saying it started now, but I'm saying it's there, where people are becoming more into older games. And, you know, we're kind of seeing the supply catch up where you can download these packs of older games. Like Ashley has a Switch, and she gets like Spyro and all those games and just downloads them and pays $5 for them. So yeah, I do think that is causing a little bit of equilibrium, or creating a bit of equilibrium, but I don't think that it's enough to totally negate this increase that I'm seeing. And the third reason, which is just more of a general reason, is that we're seeing people who grew up with Xbox 360s and PS3s, they're hitting the age where they got a little bit of scratch. They can spend some money on stuff they want. And so, like, if you loved Mortal Kombat, you can buy Mortal Kombat 5 or Street Fighter 5. Probably Mortal Kombat's a bit higher than that on PS3. We're seeing that. We're seeing people who are kind of embracing their nostalgic impulses. So supply and demand, a separation in the kinds of markets, and then a more, I don't know, young market, you know, a lesser developed market, that being people who I'd say probably are you know, young millennials, not old Gen Z, but young millennials. So like my brother's like 20, 27. People like his age, I figure. They're finally, you know, getting past the IKEA furniture and the starter apartment. They're getting a little bit of money, and so they're going to invest this in things that they, you know, are nostalgic about from their childhood, from their youth. Same thing with handheld Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance SP games. We're just seeing that era of stuff tick up more and more and more. Now you're saying, okay, well, that's video games. How does that apply to my business? And what I laid out was some premises that I think are true. So let's just say, how does that apply to clothing? Okay, well, less luxurious clothing, the higher brands, the brands that were expensive over the past 2 years, really the tippy tip of the market. Maybe those are going down. I don't know. I mean, double check. But that would follow some of the trends I'm seeing. In terms of just clothing overall, I have no clue. You don't really get value in the sense of entertainment, you know, things like that out of clothing. Books, though, for example, things that are activity-based. I mean, are we going to see an increase in hiking equipment, camping supplies? You know, every year it seems like inflatable pools are off the charts. You know, are we going to see that, or is that going to be too expensive? Where now a $2,000 Intex inflatable pool is too much of a luxury. And people then would just rather, I don't know, run through the hose. Maybe remember those crazy daisies back from about 25 years ago? Maybe those are going to be the new popular throwback. I don't know. But I think we have to consider that people are going to look for more long-term value out of their purchases, potentially purchase less luxury name brand type stuff for the sake of the name brand. Obviously, if they're high quality, and that could be a whole different scenario. And then finally, we have to really adapt to, you know, people who are from the ages of 25 to 29, whatever they enjoyed 10 years ago. Maybe that's going to see an uptick too across markets, not just video games, but you know, clothing, cars, any kind of pop culture centric consumer goods. That's what I think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So drop them below, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.